So I'm actually just going to tell you a little about why I am so incredibly excited about this campaign, and then turn it over to my friends Brad and Mike to say more. And I was thinking about what today has been like for me, and realizing that everything about today is why I'm excited about this campaign. So let me just tell you a little about today. This morning at the 9 o'clock service, we had a couple come into the church who were there for the first time, and they were there because their neighbors had told them that Greenfield Hill Church would be a really great place to go and worship. And by the end of the worship service, they said, yeah, our neighbors were right. And that was pretty cool. At 10:30, we had 4 baptisms. 4 baptisms. They were all cousins, so 3 families. And then after that, our adult education board had people in the church for a history talk, which a whole bunch of people stuck around for. But I couldn't stay for all of it because I had to hop in the car and go to the adventure park in Bridgeport, where our YPF and JPF 4th through 7th graders were zip lining and climbing in the trees. And that's why I look like this, because that's what I've been doing. But among the number there were kids whose parents haven't yet joined our church, but their kids are there because they heard it was a cool place to be. So we have kids whose parents are just discovering the church because their kids are having so much fun. And we had parents hanging out, getting to know each other while their kids climbed in the trees. And everything about all of that is why this church is worth putting some effort into, because we got to keep doing the stuff that we're doing. That amount of liveliness and love and welcome is what we do, and the campaign is about making sure that we can keep doing it for a long time. I'm really excited about what we're planning. We're planning kind of, as you know, 2 angles. One is renovation work in the buildings that we have, and the other is the endowment. And it might not sound like the endowment is the most exciting place to start, but it is super exciting to me. And some of you have heard me say this before, but I was driving through Bridgeport earlier this month, and I saw a road that had been named after a beloved pastor, and I was like, that's kind of cool. That is very cool. And then I started thinking that, in fact, having an endowment named after David and me, which is part of what we're raising funds for, is actually even more exciting. And just to be clear, there have been people who have asked, like, so this endowment that's got your name on it, is that like for you? Just to be clear, it is not. Our names are on it, but the idea of it is to make sure that what we do now can keep going for a long time. And I thought about, okay, you could have a road named after you, and I'm not saying that wouldn't be cool, just or you could, or a road into the future, which is what this endowment means. What it means is that 50 years from now, when it's quite possible I will not be climbing through the trees with JPF and YPF, somebody will be. And the places that we support will continue to be supported. And if the steeple needs painting, there'll be funds to get it painted. So that, I am actually super excited about the endowment. But I'm also, and you know this, I'm really excited about what we're planning in the sanctuary and the barn. What we have in the sanctuary now, and I love it, and I'm used to it, and I've looked at it for 34 years, but the church as we have it now, at least at the front, doesn't actually show what we preach. And what I mean by that is that what we preach is welcome and inclusion, and everybody participates, and everybody is welcome up here. But the front of our church, architecturally, says, well, not really. What it says, by the fact that it's a high and tiny platform, is there's only a few really holy people who get to be up here. And the rest of you are supposed to sit down below and watch the holy people. And that's why we have this platform that really only a few people can be up on. When I have a wedding, for instance, only the bride and groom can get up there with me. The rest of the bridal party can't make it up. And even the bride, I'm a little worried because coming up those steps is terrifying. So what we're doing is really so simple and so beautiful. We're just going to widen that space and make it more accessible. And we're going to not have the choir behind a railing anymore. They'll be able to move around and to be seen and to, to see us. Michael Crowley's organ console will be in a place where he can actually see the congregation he's playing to. All of it is simply to say we are worshiping together. We are all in this together, and there's room for everybody. And at the front of the church, we're just letting in the light. When you come into the church, there'll be just so much more light instead of that solid wall that faces you. If you know how it is. If you come in a little late, the doors are all closed. You're like, whoo. That will be glass. You'll be able to see the light coming in, and you'll step into a place of welcome. All pretty simple stuff, but it's meant to say that what we preach, we want you to feel. What we preach is welcome and inclusion, and we want you to feel that when you step into the church. And over in the barn, we're doing much the same thing. We are opening up the space into, we're lofting into the attic, which we don't use, and adding windows just so, again, kids have a place that's light and welcoming and has space for them. Brad said as I stepped up here, usually you have notes, Alida, and I'm like, oh, I don't need them. And now I'm remembering the reason I had notes was so that I didn't just keep talking and talking and talking.
You're doing great.
Which is what I'm doing. But as you can tell, I'm excited about what we're doing on every possible level, and incredibly grateful for the enthusiasm that we've been receiving, and very, very thankful for Mike Mitri and Brad Orban, who have stepped up to be chairs of this campaign. And now, you, right?
Drum roll.
I think so.
Over to Brad.